Hi, I'm Greg Howlett, and I want to take a few minutes and talk to you about the arrangement on my website, the free arrangement, Shall We Gather at the River. If you haven't downloaded it, go do it. The address is right at the bottom of the screen. Now, once you download that arrangement, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I came up with some of the ideas for it. The reason I think that's important is because my passion is getting church pianists to the point where they can do their own arrangements. Now, I know you can go to a lot of bookstores, Christian bookstores, and see hundreds of arrangement books. And there are some great arrangers out there. But for me, I would love for you to get to the point where you're arranging your own music. And so rather than just giving you an arrangement and say, go play it, I want to talk about some of the concepts. Now, I'm not saying that this is written like a classical piece of music. I'm not Beethoven by any means, but there are some thoughts that go into this that hopefully I can share with you and you can use for your own music. So we're going to talk about 5 or 6 things in this video clip in regards to some of the decisions that I made with the arrangement. Let's start at the very beginning and talk about the hook. Now, the hook in this song sounds like this, something like that. It's that little gentle flowing, off rhythm little idea, and I use that a lot through the song. You'll see it here in the intro. You'll see it sort of, well, you definitely do see it through the interlude and the modulation that occurs. And you'll see it in the ending as well. And the overall style you sort of feel through the whole song. And that's the point of a hook. Now, I talk about this a lot in my course called Arranging, available at greghowlett.com. But the concept here is you want an idea that brings cohesiveness to a song, to an arrangement. Something that makes it all feel like it all goes together. You don't want a theme and variations type of approach where you have an idea and then another idea and then another idea and none of them have anything to do with each other. We want ideas to sort of be cohesive, to work together. Now, that doesn't mean it needs to be repetitious. We don't want to use the same thing over and over again, and that's where the concept of development comes in. A lot of music that's written today feels very repetitious, same thing over and over again. But on the other hand, you have another trap on the other end of the spectrum called, well, we have development. We have repetition on one side. We have development on the other side. And sometimes you have a lot of development, but the ideas, you're developing ideas, but the ideas don't have much in common. What we want when we write music is we want a balance between repetition, which always exists in good music, and development. So you want an idea, and then you want to repeat the idea, but you want to say it in a slightly different way through the song. And I want to show you that through this hook. Let's start at the, in bar 1, you see that hook. Okay, it sounds like that. Now, in bar 3, we're going to repeat the idea, but notice that we're already going to start developing it. Now, if this was a symphony, and we had an hour to develop an idea through a piece of music, we could probably take our time. We could say that first thought exactly the same 3 times, 5 times, whatever. But this is a 3-minute arrangement. So we need to be developing very, very quickly. And I'm going to start developing the idea very quickly in bar 3. Notice what I do. First of all, I tack on a few notes from the beginning. Instead of this, I play this. Okay? And then secondly, I am going to shift rhythmically the position of the hook. Okay? That's now shifted over half a beat. Do you see that? It starts on beat 2 rather than halfway through beat 1. So we're doing some development, some light development right from the very start rhythmically, and also throwing in some extra notes. And you'll see us do more and more as the song progresses. Okay? Now, let's move on. This is a harmonic idea that occurs in bar 5, beat 3. You have this chord here. Some of you are thinking, what is that doing there? Well, I like it. That is a B-flat 7 chord, B-flat dominant. It is what we call altered. And when we say altered, we mean that it has flat or sharp 9s and flat 13s in them. Now that chord, an altered dominant chord, really works well when you're moving down a 5th to a minor 7th, which is what we're doing here. We're moving down to E flat minor. And so I like the chord there, but I will say this, the combination of notes and the voicing is a little bit, just a wee bit on the side of maybe uncomfortable for some of you. They're more used to a very churchy sound. Like that. That's a B flat dominant, but it doesn't have any color notes in it at all. So you have very boring, sorry, but very boring dominant chord here, or you have something like this. Same chord, it's a B flat 7, but the color notes make the difference. Now, if you don't like the chord I chose there, or the voicing, change it. If you want to go with something very, very traditional, go ahead. Or if you want to maybe just go halfway, maybe put in a 9, but not a flat 9, or maybe you do a flat 9, but you keep a natural 13 rather than an unnatural 13, a flat 13, okay? Those are all things that you can do to that chord. Feel free to change them. This is an arrangement, but it's not set in stone. You can change anything in there that you want. Now, let's go on to bar 7, and we see sort of the same thing. We see a pattern in the right hand. It sounds like this. Okay? Now, first of all, look at that pattern. See how it's just an F major triad? The notes are F, A, and C. Okay? F, A, and C, that's it. This is just an F major triad, and you can play any F major triad any way you want in your right hand, and it'll still sound the same. It won't sound the same, but it'll still sound like what the chord is, which is an A flat 7 with a flat 9 and a 13 in it. And you're going right there. Now, it's called a polychord voicing, by the way. It's an A flat 7 chord. When you play an F major triad on top, it turns it into a flat 9, 13 chord. And it's an easy way to think about playing some of these more interesting, complex chords. So we're playing, again, F major triad in your right hand. Play it any way you want, as long as you play 1 and 7 in the left hand. By the way, you could also just play D flat scale there. Okay. Anything you want, really, as long as it belongs to the key, D flat key, you can put on top of that A flat chord. You'd be amazed at how many options are out there available for you. All right, but again, now remember something else. When I write an arrangement like this, I'm writing to my strings. My strengths are different than your strengths. I do some things better than you do some things better than me. And this is why I often find myself, when I finish an arrangement and I look at it and I say, why are there so many notes? This seems easy. I thought this was a simple arrangement. But when I write it out, it was complicated. The reason why is because I write to my strengths. My strengths are different than your strengths. If you don't like that pattern, if it doesn't work well in your hand, change it to something that works better. You're welcome to. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go through the harmony through the song. I'm playing the wrong song. Pedal would work well as well there. I'm skipping the pedal, but I've talked about that harmony before. As a matter of fact, there's another YouTube clip where I talk about 10 concepts of harmony for this particular song. What I used here is a pretty close derivative to one of them, I'm sure. So if you watch that clip, and I think on the bottom of the screen there's probably a link to that clip right now, well, you can watch that if you want. But that'll talk about the harmony that I use to the song, these first 3 phrases and then ongoing. But I want to go through really quick and talk about this interlude, which occurs at bar 25. In bar 25, I go back to my original hook, but I want to do a mod here. Okay, now I'm going to develop the hook a little bit. I play 1, 4, harmony-wise, I play 1, 4, 1, minor 4, 6, and then I just go ahead and do what I call a just do it mod. You'll remember that phrase if you've taken my modulation course. But basically, I'm going to play a pattern and then repeat it in a new key. So I'm going to play it again. And so I'm playing 1 to 4. And now one thing I want you to notice is I'm developing quickly now because I want to make it big. We're going into a big section of the song. And so I'm playing more notes, and I go 1 to 4 and then 1, and then instead of going to the minor 4/6, instead I go to the 2 of 4 in the new key, and then the 5 of 4 in the new key, which is B flat minor 7, and then E flat 7, and then A flat. Okay, I use that a ton in front of a 4 chord. As a matter of fact, I use it other places in this arrangement. I'll put the 2 of 4 and the 5 of 4 in front of the 4. It's one of the most common tricks that modern musicians will use. All right, so I'm playing more and more notes, and I'm to my 4 chord in the new key. By the way, one of the reasons I didn't go with a more clever mod, which I actually experimented with, I was trying to come up with a clever way to get from D flat to the 4 chord in the key of E flat, but I struggled because moving to a 4 chord in the E flat in the new key is tricky, because you want to make sure that you have established the tonal center, the key center, in the ear of your listener before you start playing the new key. At least I think you should. And it's hard to do that if you're starting the new key on the key in the key of F, not key of F, on the 4 chord. So in this case, I chose to back off on the complexity of the mod to make sure I establish a key center in the ear of the listener, and then I go ahead and move to the 4 chord in the new key. All right, just a couple quick more things. Phrase bar number 38. You have this run. Okay, some of you are thinking, what in the world? And some of you are thinking, what's the big deal? And that's the beauty of music. This is actually a very dissonant sound. Some of you think it's dissonant, some of you think it sounds perfectly normal, depending on your history, your background, and those kind of things. But this is another altered chord. It's a C7 altered, meaning it has flat and sharp 9s and flat 13s in them. And that run I'm playing is full of sharp 9s, flat 9s, and flat 13s. As a matter of fact, the run is sharp 9, flat 9, 1, flat 7, flat 13, 3, and then the same thing. I love that run. I use it all the time. Again, we're moving to a minor 7, right? We're moving down to the F minor, and an altered chord works really good going down to it really well, going down to a minor 7th. So I like that run. If you don't like it, choose to play something else. You can just play chords if you want, traditional chords. You don't have to throw in any flat 9s or flat 13s. If you wanted to, you could. I really love using at least a flat 9 there, but you don't have to. You can be very, very traditional. It's hard to play a chord like that after you're used to playing a chord like that. You know, dominant chords that don't have color tones in them start to sound really, really, really boring. But feel free if you want to do that, or just use a modest color tone in it. Okay? Then one other thing I want to point out is in bar 44, we have this sound here. That sound right there, which I happen to love. Some of you are thinking, what is that? Well, traditionally, we're going to end a song with a 2-5-1 progression, right? It would sound like this. Okay, 2-5-1. I have started substituting a sharp 1 major 7 for the 5 chord. Okay, to me it sounds good. It is a different twist, just a different sound, just a way to move away from the norm a little bit. If you like it, use it. If you don't like it, go back to the traditional way. It's your choice. Pick one or the other, and feel free to use either one. Both of them will work just fine. I just wanted to point out that that's what I was thinking there. I'm substituting a major 1-7, a sharp 1 major 7 for the 5 chord. That's it for that arrangement. Again, download that, twist it around, improve it, send me an email and tell me how you improved it. Do whatever you want with it, and hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.